Live from the Civic Center in downtown St. Paul, WCCO Television Sports presents Hockey 86, the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Tonight's semifinal battle promises to be a beauty. Hill Murray is on a roll. They have depth, defense, and desire, while Hibbing features strength and score power. They meet in the semifinals.
Brought to you by your 14 Twin City Chevrolet dealers, inviting you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. Red Baron Frozen Pizza. For a tournament like this, you deserve the best. Twin City Federal, where Minnesota banks. Scotch, makers of high-quality magnetic media recording products.
And welcome back to the St. Paul Civic Center. Mark Rosen along with Ralph John Fritz. The defending state champion Burnsville Braves have earned a spot in tomorrow's championship game. Will it be a repeat performance against Hill Murray? Well, we're about to find out because, Ralph, they're going to be playing the Hibbing Blue Jackets in the semifinals.
Right, Mark. The Blue Jackets are coached by Bill Olson and Terry Skripe, of course, the coach of Hill Murray. I spoke with both of them. Let's hear their comments on tonight's game, and then we'll comment on that a bit later.
I feel that I'm going to have to ask them to dig very deep into the emotional reserves and come out here and try to get a good start in this first period and weather any storm that the Hill Murray is going to throw at us, of course.
The big thing is I want to press upon them that this is never won't happen again for the seniors. You know, there's 10 guys that have been through a lot and want to win, and a state tournament is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So when it's here, you better go for it and give it your best.
Terry Skripek also told me that Hill Murray needs to get off to a fast start. Bill Olson said we need to prove something, that Hill Murray is not invincible like a lot of teams think they might be. Well, we'll find that out shortly, and we'll have more comments in a minute. This is continuing coverage of the 1986 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, these teams are no strangers to each other, Ralph. In last year's quarterfinals, Hibbing lost a heartbreaker in overtime to Hill Murray, and a lot of those same guys are back again this year. Let's turn it upstairs to Chris and Louie.
They sure are, and you know, it was interesting listening to Bill Olson talk about the emotions. I had a chance to chat with him about a half hour ago, and I asked him about the game last year, and he said what I remember most was the emotional disappointment that the kids went through when Nick Garabay scored the winning goal for Hill Murray.
Well, they're going to have their hands full tonight to reverse that feeling, because Hill Murray is definitely a strong team. Coach Bill Olson says he's got to convince his kids that they're not invincible. Hill Murray isn't invincible. They lost during the season to Edina and Stillwater, but they're next to unbeatable right now. They're playing excellent hockey. They've got to be a favorite team in this game tonight. Hibbing is an outstanding hockey club, but I think up front Hill Murray's got a little more scoring power, especially with that big senior line of theirs led by Quinlan, Toomey, and Rolick. And back in defense, they've got a big hitter, Tony Schmaltzbauer, a real big fellow. So Steve Terrell, number 19, watch him for Hibbing. He's going to have to do a job on Toomey's line. He's going to get some help from his defensemen. Look for Joe Gosted and Kel Huseman to start it off, and hopefully for Hibbing, they're going to be able to keep that front of the net clean.
Okay, Lou, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game.
Let's meet the champions of Section 7, the Hibbing Blue Jackets. In goal, number 1, Rich Jacklin. Starting at defense, number 2, Cal Huseman. And number 4, Joe Gostad. At center, number 7, John Rue. At wing, number 6, Andy O'Brien. And number 8, Paul Girardi. Coaching the Blue Jackets, Bill Olson. And now let's meet the champions of Section 3, the Hill Murray Pioneers. Starting in goal, number 1, Rick Horvath. At defense, number 2, Sean Fabian. And number 20, Tony Schmalzbauer. At center, number 15, Trey Toomey. At wing, number 17, Tom Quinlan. And number 19, Steve Rollick. And number 19, Steve Rollick, and coaching the Pioneers, Terry Skripek. Here are your officials for this semifinal game. The referees are Jerry Krieger and Greg Shepard. Your linesman is Jeff Shy. On the scoreboard, Hibbing is the visitor, Hill Murray the home team. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to stand and join in singing as the Hibbing High School Band, under the direction of Art Hill, leads us in the Star-Spangled Banner.
You couldn't ask for a better matchup in this championship semifinal. The Hill Murray Pioneers 23-2, ranked number 2 in the state. And the Hibbing Blue Jackets are 22-2. And if we can get half the game we had last year when these two teams met, we're in for a great one.
Well, Chris, I think we can. One thing in Hibbing's favor, they've already reversed one of those 2 losses. They were beaten earlier this season by Bemidji 6-3, but last night they beat Bemidji to come here against Hill Murray. Hill Murray's got to contain the speed of Hibbing up front. At the same time, as we were saying before, the 2 biggest guys on defense for Hibbing, Huseman and Gossett, they've got some good size. They're both 6'2". They've got some weight. They're going to have to contain those big Hill Murray forwards, especially around the net. They've seen them last night. They know people like Quinlan and Rolick like to drive for that net, and they've got to use that size effectively to keep them away. And tonight we're going to have Rich Jacklin in the net. Last night Monticelli played. He played a fine game for Hibbing, but they do switch these two, and Jacklin's already had 3 shutouts this year.
Can't argue with that. I asked Bill Olson if that was tough, because most people feel Monticelli's their #1 guy, and he said, well, we did the same last year. We started Monticelli in the second game, and I said, but in your rotation, wouldn't you have started Jacklin in the first game? And he felt that Monticelli had more tournament experience, so that's why they did it the way they did it. But he said both goaltenders were going to play. So we're all set, and this should be a dandy. The Hill Murray Pioneers would like to get back into the championship final against Burnsville. Burnsville's there already, but Hibbing off to a quick start. Then Rick Horvath has to hold on down in the Hill Murray goal.
John Rue getting a chance. He got 2 chances right there. He stole that puck. He got a shot at Horvath from the short side. He really had nothing to shoot at, but got his own rebound and put it right back into him again.
From the faceoff in behind the net, Hibbing putting on early pressure. Andy O'Brien is forechecking Tony Schmalzbauer. Puck comes loose. That's John Rue in the corner to O'Brien. Back out in front, and now Rue chases after it. Number 7. He led the Hibbing team in scoring during the regular season. And now the puck is cleared out to center ice. And here's a break for the Pioneers. Tom Quinlan centers it across the ice. Over on the near side, it was Rollick going into the boards, and the puck cleared up over the glass out of play.
Coach Bill Olson obviously wanted to go with his strength against their strength. Girardi's the leading scorer for this Hibbing team. His line of Giroux, Girardi, and O'Brien came out to start off against Trey Toomey's line, leaving big Steve Terrell to follow up next.
I wonder if Rick Horvath did any yelling before tonight's game. Apparently, when Hill Murray trailed 2-1 against Richfield after one period last night, he had a few unkind remarks for his teammates.
Well, we'll have to see how they fare this first period, whether he's going to have to do any yelling or not.
Senior John Schwartz centers it out front for Hibbing. It's cleared away, but the Blue Jackets off to a good start. That's Steve Terrell, the captain, clearing it behind the net. Tom Schock has it for the Pioneers. Up on the boards, and now Nick Garravey, who beat Hibbing last year with that overtime goal, cleared it out, but it's cleared back in. On the near side, Dan Miller, number 12. Miller with Mark Johnson and Garravey. Knocks it down deep into Hibbing territory. Garravey after it with Johnson. Johnson in behind the net. It's knocked off his stick, and now cleared up on the boards. Zabachnik had it cleared away from him. The Blue Jackets working on the near side. Now Hill Murray comes up with it momentarily, and finally it's cleared to the line. Kept in, however, Todd Valento with a weak shot in on Jacklin. Mike Hardy with the puck for Hibbing. He is checked and has to go back for it. Now it's Blummer behind the net, centering pass, and that is cleared away by Steve Stavnes. Now it's pressure by Schmaltzbauer and the Hill Murray Pioneers. Puck cleared to the line, and now it finally comes outside the line. So each team has bottled the other up with some good forechecking here in the opening minutes. Now it's Pascuzzi. Pascuzzi is checked on the play by Dave Barichka. A lead pass for Valento to Barichka. He clears it in, and Hill Murray makes another line change. They've changed quickly in the opening 2.5 minutes. Up to Pete Wallers with a shot. There's the rebound, and it's cleared to the corner. Wallers had a pair of goals last night. He's number 14 for Hibbing. In behind the goal, Tom Schock. Out at center ice, loose puck, Girardi. In it goes, out in front, they score! Andy O'Brien might have tipped it. Otherwise, it's Girardi's goal.
Well, he certainly did tip it. He only had one hand on the stick as he was coming out from behind the net. The puck was taken away from Trey Toomey, 10 feet inside the blue line. Girardi shot right here. You'll see going towards the net, and at the top of your screen, just coming from behind the net, right there, the puck gets deflected, and it looks like it should be Andy O'Brien's goal, deflecting Paul Girardi's shot right after Doug Terrell had stolen that puck from Trey Toomey. See this stick right there? He seemed to get a piece of it as Horvath was looking to block it. Here you're going to see Girardi's shot. It's not hard. It gets deflected coming in here. He just gets it towards the net. That's all he wanted to do. It hit the man, and the deflection in front by O'Brien puts Hibbing out in front 1-0.
Andy O'Brien, a 5'8", 160-pound junior, with the goal at 2:52, and the Blue Jackets of Hibbing are out in front. Now it's Trey Toomey for Hill Murray in the zone. He can't get loose. Puck is cleared to the line and out. So Girardi gets one assist and Doug Terrell the other. 1-0 Blue Jackets. Steve Rollick to the line, but it's kept in there. Husman around the boards, and Tom Quinlan, the fine winger, out the other side, and he gets it outside the line. Zabachnik bodies his man there. And it's Toomey feeding it ahead for Rollick. Steve Rollick is cut off as he had a clear lane to the net, but John Schwartz came back and made the defensive play. There's a good hit in the center ice zone, but here comes Hibbing 2-on-1. Centering pass for Schwartz failed to collect. Now in behind the net. Terrell is knocked down. Schwartz is forechecking. Pinching in was Gostad, but Hill Murray comes out to center. It's Mark Johnson. Johnson checked inside the line, and back come the Blue Jackets as Terrell fires it in. He's one of the leaders on this Hibbing team and heads to the bench. Pioneers work it back in. Miller was checked at the line. There's Schmaltzbauer with a shot which goes to the corner. Blue Jackets fired around the boards, and out they come to center ice. This is Pete Wallers. Wallers inside the line, and it's called on the offside. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Steve Terrell had taken a real hard hit behind the net. Steve Rollick really caught him with a shoulder, and after Rollick had to go off the ice.
Terrell, Wallers, and Kasner are up front for Hibbing. The Pioneers have Dave Barichka, Jeff Blummer, and Todd Valento. In behind the goal, Pascuzzi clears it around the boards. Barichka's forechecking, but now Doug Terrell, the younger brother of Steve, fired ahead for Wallers. That failed to click. Pascuzzi moves up, and Tom Pascuzzi over the line. He is hit by Schock. Now in turn, Terrell hits a man, but here's a break, and this is Valento in. Valento fanned on the shot, and Jacklin made the stop. Valento shaken up behind the play, and it's been whistled down as he had a great scoring chance for the Pioneers.
He was just being bothered as he was ready to shoot, and if you watch it, the puck's going to go right off the tip of his stick. That's what happened. See right there, he just sort of fanned at it as he was going, and he couldn't quite get it. He was being bothered from behind, and that was enough to check behind by Kel Huseman, got Valento to take his eye off the puck, and he just didn't get anything on it.
9:49 remaining in the first period. It's 1-0 for the for the Blue Jackets, and back they come. There's a shot off the stick of Andy O'Brien, and it didn't miss by much. Now the Pioneers break out. Quinlan fell on the play, and that brought a reaction from the crowd.
But it only gets about a 5-5 on the dive meter.
He's watching old Bill Barber tapes. Although I understand Keith Acton's not bad at it.
And Dino Ciccarelli. They're perfecting it.
Here's O'Brien turning in the zone, and now we've got a penalty in behind the play, and it looks like it's going against the Blue Jackets. With the score, Hibbing 1, Hill Murray 0. This is Hockey 86, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Andy O'Brien serving an interference penalty for interfering with Steve Rollick to the right of Hibbing's net. Hill Murray in the power play position to tie this game, trailing 1-0 to Hibbing.
Pioneers clicked on 2 of 4 opportunities last night as Rollick winds up. Long shot. Jacklin will hold on, while the Blue Jackets killed all 3 power play opportunities that Bemidji had last night.
Well, the Pioneers have an outstanding power play, and on this, they move Steve Rollick back to the left point to give him 4 forwards out there. You can watch Quinlan goes in the middle for the draw, and also to try and screen the goalie in front of that net.
And Quinlan gets the draw to Fabian. Winds up. There's the shot. Good save by Jacklin. Puck cleared round the boards. It'll be kept in by Rollick. He has some trouble with it. Passes over to Fabian. That was close. Schwartz almost stole that for Hibbing. Trey Toomey sets it up. They're very methodical in this power play. There's the blast, and Rollick's shot was stopped by Jacklin. And that was traveling.
I don't think Jacklin saw that one. Quinlan standing right in front of him seemed to block his view, and it just hit him.
Blue Jackets get out to center. Steve Terrell and John Schwartz are up front trying to kill this penalty. Puck loose in the center zone as Hill Murray having trouble getting organized. 1 minute remaining in the power play. And Trey Toomey will take it. Here he comes. Drops the pass. This is Johnson pulled down. We're going to get another penalty and a 2-man advantage for the Pioneers for 53 seconds.
And Steve Terrell going off for hooking. A real big reaction from the crowd that didn't like that call. The second call when you're on a penalty kill situation usually has to be a pretty flagrant infraction. Otherwise, you don't see him called too often. That one was a little marginal. You'd have to give the Hill Murray player a little bit of the dive meter there. I think Steve Terrell caught him a bit, but not enough to really be such a big infraction to warrant a call on the second penalty.
Certainly is a big chance for the Pioneers, and moving in is Toomey. He drops it back. The shot. Jacklin makes the save. I don't think they want those shots from the point with a 2-man advantage. Let's see how they set it up this time. Toomey back to Fabian. Rollick's on this near side. That's him, number 19. Across ice, and a pass went through the skates of Mark Johnson. Johnson gets it back again, moves to the net. Here's Toomey on the near side. Quinlan in the slot. They're not getting many shots on goal. 15 seconds left in the two-man advantage. Quinlan out in front. Johnson missed the pass.
They're handling that puck too much around the perimeter.
Here's Fabian's drive. Goes wide. Toomey from close in. Across ice. There's Johnson. Sets up. Johnson with too many moves. Now out in front. Quinlan hits the goal post. And now the light goes on.
Actually, the puck went in and hit the pipe, but both Jacklin and his defenseman were in the crease. And when the defenseman fell down, it hits him in the back and goes into the net. The puck had not gone in off Quinlan's shot, but with both of them in there, and Mike Hardy trying to help Jacklin. You'll see right here, they're both in the crease. Hardy's just getting up now. Now he tries to fall again to block it. The puck hits the pipe, comes back, I believe, and is going to be deflected right in the net. Jacklin's being bothered by all the traffic around the front of the net. And Hardy's much too small to move that Quinlan. Quinlan is all alone right there. He shoots it, hits the pipe, and right there it goes in off Mike Hardy. Unfortunate for Hardy, not much he can do, but when you're trying to defend that crease and you're off balance, there's the puck getting knocked in right there by Hardy.
So it's Tom Quinlan's third goal of the tournament. And that goal came just after the first penalty had expired, which means Steve Terrell comes out of the penalty box, and the two teams are at full strength. With the score, Hill Murray 1, Hibbing 1, this is Hockey 86, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Well, the size and strength of Tom Quinlan in front of that net, he just couldn't be moved. He wouldn't let himself be moved. He got a shot away. It didn't go in, but as it hit the pipe, it came back out, hit the Hibbing player, and back in the net, and this game is tied.
So they capitalize on the power play opportunity. Trey Toomey and Mark Johnson get assists on the goal by Tom Quinlan. And it's 1-1 with 6 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the first period. We expected a good one, and it has been so far. Loose puck in front. Here's a chance for Barichka. And sliding across was Stavnes to stop that shot. There's another one fired wide of the goal. So the Pioneers, after a slow start, are taking control. Barichka with the puck, trying to move out in front. Had it slide off his stick, and now Tom Sullivan clears the zone. And the Pioneers have to go back to get it as it slides in on Rick Horvath. Craig Quinlan around the boards for Valento too far. Cal Husman has it. He sends it back in the zone. And now Quinlan steps over his own line and sends it down into the Hibbing territory. And the Hill Murray Pioneers make a line change. Out at center, the puck is gloved ahead for John Rue. It was too far. Now Quinlan loses his stick at the line, and it's called on the offside.
Well, Tony Schmaltzbauer was going to get man, player, stick, or puck, and he got 2 out of the 3. He got the man, and he got the stick. The puck went over the line, but he made sure that John Rule wasn't able to cross the line with possession of that puck.
I thought Schmaltzbauer was outstanding last night against Richfield. He dished out a number of checks, and there's a tough shot right in on Rick Horvath from center ice.
I really didn't care who won between Bemidji or Hibbing, but I would have liked to have seen George Palava playing against Schmaltzbauer, because some of those hits would have registered about a 10 on the Richter scale. Two real big men that like to use their weight.
From the face-off, Girardi with a shot directed at the goal. Schmaltzbauer clears that away. He goes down heavily. Rollick clears it around the boards on the other side for Quinlan. Quinlan can't get it out of the zone. A shot in off the stick of Mike Hardy goes wide of the goal. Hibbing trying to get their forechecking game together. It's kept in at the point by Husman. His shot rolls wide. And now we've got a penalty coming up against the Pioneers. So we'll see the Hibbing power play. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Sean Fabian will be serving the high-sticking penalty. Happened to the right of Rick Horvath as he high-stick Paul Girardi. And now Hibbing, in this game tied 1-1, gets their first power play opportunity. You'll see to the right of Horvath right here, number 2. That's Sean Fabian's stick. You couldn't see the rest of his body, but that was Paul Girardi that received it up around the shoulder area. Undoubtedly a high stick. Hibbing with an opportunity to pull ahead. 5:32 to go in the first period, 1-1 tie.
Blue Jackets 0 for 4 on the power play last night against Bemidji. They have Rue, Zabachnik, Terrell out up front. Another Terrell on the point as it's cleared down the ice. And the Blue Jackets have struggled on the power play in tournament action in the last 3 tournaments. They're 1 for 21.
And you could expect Hill Murray to be more aggressive on the penalty killing than the Hibbing was.
Here's a chance and a shot right on goal as Gostad moved in and Horvath made the stop and cleared the goal crease.
Well, he should keep that stick to himself. When someone's coming towards him, there's no need for that. You're already 1 down, and it's very easy to go 2 down.
He's been watching Billy Smith highlight films.
A few times our goaltenders have done it too. It doesn't make me feel too good when we get that second penalty, a needless second penalty. It also affects the goaltender's concentration.
Although in this case, Horvath seems to play better when he's fired up, and he sure has been fired up in this tournament. Here's Terrell losing the puck at center ice. Garvey turns, and he fires it right back in.
You see the difference in Hill Murray's penalty killing. They're going right at the man. They're trying to make Hibbing move that puck quicker. They're creating a little more opportunity for error by forcing Hibbing to have to do something with the puck, whereas Hibbing was just staying in the box, allowing Hill Murray, even when it was 5-on-4, just to throw the puck around.
Senior defenseman Joe Gostad in behind the net. He'd like to center it out, though he is checked by Tom Schock. And Schock gets it out, and here's a 2-on-1 for Hill Murray. It's Quinlan firing, and that went through the pads and out the other way on Rich Jacklin. And now countering is Girardi. Girardi across for Rue in. Rue with the shot, and Horvath holds on long enough for a face-off. Great chances at both ends.
It certainly was. Girardi took both defensemen to him. His great speed forces the defenseman back. He's coming with such quickness that the defenseman can't stand up. So the defenseman sagged so far down right here, he was able to shovel off the Rue. And Rue walking in all alone was just thwarted by Horvath, who came out at the same time the defenseman Hill Murray made him shoot that puck in a hurry.
Looked like Rue was caught between shooting or passing to Girardi, and instead the puck rolled weakly off his stick.
Smart play by Horvath, though, to come out and cut that angle.
Challenge the shooter. 15 seconds left in the power play. Blue Jackets try and stuff it in. That was Doug Terrell, the sophomore, and now out at center ice, and that should just about do it for the man advantage as Sean Fabian is standing up in the penalty box. And now Fabian's back on the ice, and both teams at full strength. Pete Waller's turning in his own zone. He had 2 goals last night against Bemidji. Hibbing works it into the zone. And now the Pioneers bring it out. Here comes another 2-on-1. Quinlan and Rollick. The pass for Rollick broken up. And it's held long enough for a face-off. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
A fine play by Steve Stavnes breaking up that 2-on-1. Tom Quinlan this time elected to pass. He had a 2-on-1 just earlier and he shot. This time he figured he'd change his mind and he passed it, but Stavnes broke it up.
Paul Girardi was dumped, and some of the fans felt the penalty should have been forthcoming. No penalty called, and play continues with the Pioneers in Hibbing territory. Puck is centered out. John Rue is there, and now Girardi takes over. Had a 7-game goal streak snapped in last night's encounter against Bemidji. Rue with the shot wide of the goal. Andy O'Brien moves into forecheck. There's Girardi looking for a loose puck, and he comes up with it. Girardi centered it. Nobody was there, and the Pioneers take over. Out at center ice. And this is Rollick on the latter stages of a shift here. Rollick gives away. Here's Toomey. Toomey feeds it back to the point. Moving in is Fabian. He lost it. And here come the Blue Jackets. 2-on-1. Terrell for Schwartz. Schwartz's shot was blocked by Schmaltzbauer. Puck in the corner. Toomey is there for the Pioneers. He hands off to Garvey. And here comes Nick Garvey to center ice. Garvey works over the line, fires it in, and that didn't miss by much. That seemed to handcuff Rick Jacklin. Puck comes to the point. Fabian and Johnson keeps it in. Here's Mark Johnson. He's tripped up. Play continues. Out in front it goes to Dan Miller. To the point. Schmaltzbauer's shot deflects into the corner. Miller is there, trying to feed it in front. Dan Miller fighting for it, number 12. There's Mark Johnson. Back to the point. Schmaltzbauer has it hop over his stick. 1:22 left in the period. It's 1-1. Hibbing and Hill Murray in a good first period. Here's Mark Johnson. Johnson turns, is checked, and the Blue Jackets work it out to center ice. Waller's over the line, lost control. Now Blummer against the boards, and there's a good body check. Dished out, and we've got under a minute to go in the first period as play is whistled down.
There was a good body check, and one of the infrequent ones, surprisingly enough, after last night. Both these clubs coming through very physical games, and there was much more body contact last night. Tonight they haven't elected to hit as much, but the speed is quicker than either of the games last night.
You know, Bill Olson surprised me. I said, are you glad you're playing a skating team like Hill Murray instead of the physical team like Bemidji? And he says, I think Hill Murray can be more physical than Bemidji.
Well, they can. They got some big boys up there, and that's what happened last night. First period they weren't, but the second and third they took it to Richfield with their size.
38 seconds left as the Pioneers apply some pressure, and now it's Hibbing working their way back. A long shot in wide of the goal, and Horvath scoops it up, and we'll have a face-off deep in the Pioneer zone.
Since early in the game when we had a couple of marginal penalties that you have to call, the referees want to make sure that they got control of the game. But since that time, we're seeing the referees allowing them to play. We're getting some contact. We're getting some little hooks and holes, but stuff that really isn't interrupting the flow of the game, and the referees very wisely are letting them go on with it without calling a lot of penalties.
Here's a key face-off with 28 seconds remaining in the first period, and it will be John Rue, the 5'7", 155-pound senior of Hibbing.
And Rollick's out of position, by the way. Okay, now they got a wing inside there.
Okay, Tom Quinlan won the draw anyway. But there's a giveaway. O'Brien winds up Horvath to stop. Rebound, and that just missed. John Rue just missed on the rebound as the Blue Jackets almost took the lead in the final minute. There's still some time, and they're putting on pressure. But now the Pioneers get possession. Well, only momentarily. There's another shot. Horvath to stop. Rebound, knocked to the corner, and that will do it, but quite a flurry to end the period for the Hibbing Blue Jackets, and Horvath makes his way quickly to the gate. I don't think he was too happy with the way his team closed out the final 15 seconds.
I think you're right, Chris. They got mixed up on their assignments off the face-off. They had an open man. The shooter was open for a moment. Then the right wing came across to take the shooter, leaving the boards open. That man got the face-off. They controlled the puck in the zone. They finally stole a pass that Hill Murray was trying to clear with, and they got two fine opportunities. Horvath had to make the saves, or right now we could be going into the second period with a Hibbing lead rather than a 1-1 tie.
Well, it was 4-3 in overtime when the two teams met last year, and don't bet against overtime again. It's 1-1 after one. Now to Sports Control.
And this is a game, Ralph, where the fans are on the edge of their seats. Every single rush has to be the best skating game of the tournament we've seen.
I talked to to the two coaches prior to the game, and they said, we expect a good skating game. They both agreed, but one said, if the other gets rough, we can get rough, and we can do a lot of checking too. But it has been a good skating period, perhaps the best of the tournament.
Rich Jacklin coming through in goal. His first tournament appearance, Monticelli had been leading Hibbing, and they've been alternating, though, most of the year, and that's why Billy Olson went with Jacklin. I'm sure there were some nervous moments for Jacklin until he got his first save. And there were some big moments. Andy O'Brien nearly had that second goal right near the end, and I'm sure Ricky Horvath is not real pleased and maybe chewing out his teammates as we speak right now. He does have a habit of doing that.
Horvath and Jacklin really did look good in goal, too.
Yes, they did.
Tony Parker's back down on the ice. Tony? No, that's not Tony.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You know, you see a lot of these kinds of costumes in the state high school hockey tournament especially. These guys were so good we had to bring you down and have a look at them. This is superb tailoring. You guys want to jump down and talk to me? We got them up on the penalty bench so you can see the whole costume. First of all, your names.
Mike Broker.
And what year in school?
Second year, a sophomore.
Okay, how about you?
I'm a sophomore. My name is Rick Nordvold.
Two sophomores. How about you?
Freshman, Dave Rue.
Okay, first of all, who thought up the outfits, Dave?
Well, we all got them together, but it was started by Jim Tuesnut about 3 years ago. He came down to the stage and dressed up. It wasn't this elaborate, but he cheeked up, and that's how it got started.
Hey, I got to find out who did the makeup. Get in closer. Who did the makeup?
Well, I'll tell you, we've worked for a long time to get as good as we are at putting on the makeup like this, so we do it ourselves.
Okay. One of you guys got a brother in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Which one of you?
Huh?
Which one of you guys got a guy on the ice today? brother?
No, none of my well, he's got a cousin. That's a cousin, John Rue. That's my cousin. Yeah.
Okay. And you say you did you came by the makeup by how again?
Well, we just we put it on ourselves. We buy it. It's not provided to us. This is all on our own. So we buy it and we put it on all ourselves.
I'll tell you what, package it. You can sell it. You got to make a lot of money.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. That's just about a prize winner right there, right, guys?
I want to see him walk into the Sportsman's Cafe in Hibbing looking like that some morning. All cheeked up. Yes, indeed.
That was a rock group kiss for a minute there.
Hibbing and Hill Murray are tied 1-1. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing action in the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Well, the pace in this one was set early as the Hibbing Blue Jackets came out flying. Great forechecking produced their first goal and their only goal here in the first period. Andy O'Brien, the junior, somehow gets the puck underneath, and it goes through the pads of Ricky Horvath. Sean Fabian was sliding across trying to deflect the puck. Doug Terrell set it up. Horvath really never saw it. And here's another look at it. At 2:52 of the first period, assisted by Doug Terrell and Paul Girardi, 1-0 Hibbing.
Terry Skripek, the head coach of Hill Murray, said we want to start quickly tonight. We haven't done that lately. At 7:50, the Pioneers got their first goal on the two-man power play. Actually, it was listed as a one-man power play, but it was right after the one expired. And there it is, number 17, Tom Quinlan, getting the goal from the slot with assists to Mark Johnson and Trey Toomey. That tied the score at 1-1. Actually, Hill Murray did not score quickly, but nonetheless, they did tie it at 1 apiece.
Both teams did have great chances to score near the end of the period, but we still stand 1-1, Hibbing and Hill Murray. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing action of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
This year we've added a cheerleading tournament to our list of things here at the coverage, and the winning squad will be announced tomorrow during the final game. And here now is the Hibbing cheerleading squad. The Hibbing cheerleading squad. And for the stations around our network, allow me to introduce our news anchor, Don Shelby, here at Channel 4 in the Twin Cities. Don usually is introducing me on the sports. And Don is getting acclimated to the sport of hockey. Being from Indiana,
Indeed.
You're just a basketball man. You haven't seen that much hockey.
If it weren't for the sport, there'd be no difference whatsoever. The crowd is the same numbers of people attend, the same kind of fanaticism. And that's the element of the story that I wanted to come out and tell the sports fan. That word comes from the complete word fanatic, with a dictionary definition of anyone with an unusual or obsessive faith in anything. It applies here to this contest. But for the adults here at the Civic Center, what I've learned is that definition simply doesn't go far enough. For the adults, it's nail-biting, heart-pounding, heart-breaking excitement. In the eyes of these moms and dads, aunts and uncles, one sees more riding on the game than a trophy, more meaning than that contained in school spirit. For these people, there's a lot riding on these contests. A chance to be young, for instance. Consider the closing minutes of today's Denfeld-Burnsville match. 26 seconds left to go. Burnsville is up by 1 goal, and we're in the Denfeld section.
To even get here is super. Come on, get a ball. Well, that could have been it right there, eh?
I know better than that. A better finish would have found Denfeld on top. Dick Gillen knows it too. Denfeld, class of '57, never made it to the state finals until today. A bit of Gillen died in the last 26 seconds of today's game. All of us lead lives not unlike that of Walter Mitty. My life is like that. It's 26 seconds left to go. Shelby, the center for Denfeld, with the puck, flying in against the defending state champs. The crowd's on its feet. Shelby, a shot. Good. Anywhere in the back of your mind and your heart did you think for a moment, see if I were only on skates down there in uniform, they could really use me at this moment?
I think anybody that's been on skates, played hockey, is be a fan forever and always think that they could do something. Yes, I think everybody has that thought in the back of their mind if they played before.
But we're the adults. We're the ones who must counsel the young and the broken that this is only a game. There's always next year. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Oh, if they could only see our faces as they skate. If they could only see into our own private dreams. The roar of the crowd here at the Civic Center is not so much a vocal exercise as it... The point that I think is made by the whole crowd is that this is not so much a sporting event as it is a way of marking time, sort of a rite of passage, if you will, a way of putting 1 year beyond the next year. That a lore develops around this event like none other. That I know that there are people in the Civic Center tonight who will remember that such and such an athlete scored such and such a winning goal in such and such a tournament. They'll know that as resolutely as they know the birth weight of their first child.
Goes on forever.
Yes.
How did you feel scoring that winning goal?
It was a team effort, Coach. I couldn't have done it without the other two people who assisted me.
You have to keep your objectivity, too. You look like you're pulling for Denver there as a reporter. You can't do, or for Denfeld. You can't do that as a reporter.
I pulled because that was the effect the crowd had on me. That's where the excitement, the energy was.
They do that, don't they?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Don Shelby, for those views. This is live continuing coverage of the 1986 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Outstanding skating in that first period. I think the hitting's going to pick up just a little bit, don't you, Lou? Just a
maybe
little
with some elbows or something.
Yeah, I think
you're tougher than those players are.
They've been watching George Falava too much, I think.
Actually, we had an outstanding period of hockey, a real fast period, each club having 10 shots on net. And I'll have to say that as far as the quickness goes, that's about as good as we've seen in the tournament thus far.
I wonder if those gentlemen are expecting more overtime tonight. It might be the way the two teams played in that first period. 1-1. Hibbing and Hill Murray. Any adjustments that either team might make going into the second period?
Well, if I was Hill Murray, I'd say that I'd like to see their team use their body more. They're more effective when they're taking people out, and playing against some smaller players, if you keep hitting them, by the time you get to the third period, you can wear them down somewhat. Hibbing's speed up front has been some problem for Hill Murray defense thus far, so you could expect them to do the same thing, maybe try to get on the defenseman quicker to have them cough that puck up.
First period had a good pace to it. Let's see what happens in the second. As we're underway, Trey Toomey along with Tom Quinlan and Steve Rollick start for the Pioneers. And it's John Rue, Paul Girardi, and Andy O'Brien, who had the goal for Hibbing. O'Brien did. Are up front for the Blue Jackets as icing is the call early in this second period against Hibbing.
Hibbing's got to feel real good about the way they played that period. They came out with a great deal of speed and enthusiasm right off the start. They had some chances. They know that they can skate with Hill Murray. They know that they've got the kind of offense up front. If they get some chances, they can score goals. At the same time, they were able to contain Hill Murray with the exception of that power play goal that Hill Murray scored.
From the face-off, the Blue Jackets get it, and it's John Rue clearing it down into Hill Murray territory. Sean Fabian around the boards to Tony Schmaltzbauer. On the far side, it goes to Rollick. And now up into the center ice area. Trey Toomey has it. He had a hat trick last year in the tournament. Works his way to center ice. Can't get through, and now it's cleared in. And the Blue Jackets have it in their own zone. They try and work it out, but the pass intercepted by Toomey. He clears it right back. Gostad around the boards. John Schwartz on the other side takes over. One of the returning players for Hibbing. They had 12 graduate last year, so the Blue Jackets have done a good job in returning to the state finals. This is Husman. Husman coming behind the net, trying to center it out in front. He was checked, and it's Tony Schmaltzbauer to his defensive partner, Tom Schock. And Schock clears it down the ice. 13:40 left in the second period, a 1-1 tie. As Husman takes a hit in his own zone, they pile up against the boards and hold it for a faceoff.
Well, you might see a little more of that, but whenever you see Hibbing involved in it, you're hoping that Steve Terrell's involved because he's 6'3", 205, a big centerman. You look at the goals allowed per game, Hill Murray leading this tournament, but Bemidji, or Hibbing, having a very fine season, just 226. And you can tell why. They've got a very mobile defense. They've got a defense with some size and speed, and they've had two solid goaltenders here.
Johnson against Terrell on the face-off, and it comes to Zabachnik. Pat Zabachnik, a senior forward, along with Terrell. There's the backhand right on goal. Steve Terrell with the shot on goal. Bill Olson was telling me that Terrell is the leader of the team, and sometimes during the course of a year, and it's understandable with this many kids, some kids fall out of line a bit, but it's Terrell who gets them back in line. He's kind of like the coach's assistant in that, and he's got the size to back it up.
You mean the coach's muscle?
Yes. There's a shot from the face-off right on goal. Be a handy guy to have around.
We just got a score, by the way. Denver's beating UMD 5-2.
There's a shot blocked at the point, and it slides all the way out to center ice, and Mike Hardy went back to get it. It's still loose, and now Steve Stavnes gets it out to center. Tom Schock over to Craig Quinlan. Quinlan fires it back towards the Hibbing blue line. Puck gets loose, and the Blue Jackets better be careful. Here's Nick Garrity with the puck. Garrity is checked. It comes back to Schock. He fires it in the corner. Mark Johnson trying to come out from the side. Johnson spins, was checked. Now it's Valento centering it out in front. And the Blue Jackets are able to clear it away for a moment, but Mark Johnson's on it again. Now he's checked. And finally, Hibbing gets it out to center. In fact, this could be icing. Horvath plays the puck, clears it up ahead. And it's Garrity turning in his own zone. Garrity hooked from behind will have a penalty coming up against Hibbing. And now Garrity is slammed into the boards, and we may have 2 penalties against the Blue Jackets. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Here comes Garrity with the puck. Pete Waller's going to hook him 3 times here. 1, and he doesn't get satisfied. 2, and as he's going at him, the referee, as soon as he saw that stick come up around the face, he called that an hooking penalty. Afterwards, he followed up with a little bit of a nice check on him also, but just 1 penalty. Waller's in the penalty box right now, and Hill Murray in the power play.
Garrity was really punished with that check, and it looked like the official was going to call 2. Just the 1-man advantage, though, for the next 2 minutes as Hill Murray moves out. They've already got a power play goal in the game, trying to break a 1-1 tie. Tom Quinlan behind the goal. He's checked by Joe Gostad. Gostad fighting for it. Now it comes in front, and the Blue Jackets clear it down the ice.
You'll know there's the difference here. Hibbing, when they get Hill Murray coming up with the puck, they're just pulling back and picking up a wing. They're allowing them to come in a lot easier than Hill Murray was allowing them to come in on the power play.
Here's Quinlan with that great move in, shooting, and a good stop there by Jacklin. And Quinlan has that patented move off the right wing.
And John Rue came back to knock him down as he just looked like he might have been able to reach that free puck and put it behind Jacklin.
Here's Mark Johnson in over the line. He's dumped by Gostad. Following up is Sean Fabian. Now it's Johnson losing possession, and it's cleared down the ice by Joe Gostad. Gostad's brother, Sean, was on the Hibbing team last year, a graduate. Now it's Steve Rollick to the line. Rollick puts on the brakes at the left point, tries to flip it in. That's intercepted and backhanded high down the ice.
Hill Murray now having some difficulty getting the play working in the offensive zone. They've had the occasion to get the puck in there, but right after they've made an initial attempt at the net or a pass, they had the puck thrown back down the ice.
Paul Girardi does a good job of forechecking, and he has the puck and shoots it in. Girardi and John Rue seem to be bottling up the Pioneers. Just 15 seconds left in the power play advantage. Only 1 good chance. That came off the stick of Quinlan. There's a long shot. Jacklin steers it to the corner. Both teams have tested the goalies from well out on occasion tonight, and that might be because they haven't had many good shots on goal from in close. And now Wallers comes back on the ice, so the 2 teams are back at full strength. Hill Murray not that effective on that power play. 9 minutes, 52 seconds left in the second period. It's still a 1-1 tie. Barichka As Blummer open on the right wing. Here's Blummer in, shooting, hit the post. That hit the outside of the goal post, but there was some room there for Blummer. And a good low shot from the junior. Now the Blue Jackets get possession and just flip it to center. Tom Schock across to Craig Quinlan. Craig's pass was intercepted, and Hibbing fires it in. Zabachnik along with Terrell and Schwartz, but out comes Hill Murray. This is Barichka with Blummer on his right wing. Blummer is in, shooting, and he shot that wide. He was looking for the short side again. Now back come the Blue Jackets. His play is opening up, but we've got an injured player behind the play. John Schwartz is down with the score. Hibbing 1, Hill Murray 1. This is Hockey 86, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Well, we're looking at John Schwartz down on the ice. He took a real heavy check from Todd Valento, and he's being attended to right now. He might have just lost his wind because at first it looked like he could have gotten a knee. He was rolling around, but you'll see right in front of the bench, the Hill Murray bench, here he gets hit. A heavy check by Valento right on John Schwartz. I thought he might have had a Charlie horse at first, but now it looks like they were tending to him up higher. He might have just lost his wind. But he's getting up. He's got 2 goals yesterday, as we see. Very fine hockey player, and I'm certainly that Hibbing is real excited to have that man back. Earlier, we see Quinlan on that power play getting the opportunity, pull the puck through the defenseman, and as he's coming in on the net, you see the good move he's got. He likes to pull it through, and he'll pull it right across, but the back check right there was really an important part, and that was by John Schwartz, of allowing him no time to put that puck in the net.
This is John Schwartz's 3rd tournament. There's a shot just missing the net. Schwartz's 3rd tournament, and he is a very valuable member of the Hibbing Blue Jackets, and we certainly hope he'll be back. Here's Doug Terrell intercepting a pass, leaves it on the line. There's a shot, and Horvath deflects that up over the glass and out of play.
That was really a classic drop pass. Usually when you drop the pass, you always like to put what we call just a small tail on it, so it's just lying there, someone can skate on it. But that had to be perfect, because had it gone another 2 inches more, that puck would have been outside the blue line and offside. But a nice drop pass by Terrell, a fine shot. Horvath knocked it over the glass.
Here's a shot by O'Brien off the face-off, but it hits somebody in front. John Rue knocks it into the corner, and Sean Fabian will take over for Hill Murray. Up ahead to Tom Quinlan. Left wing pass for Rollick. Rollick into Toomey. Toomey at a partial break, but thought Quinlan was with him and passed off and lost possession. Might have been a good chance for Toomey to put a burst of speed on. He is fast. So's Quinlan, and Quinlan has the puck to Toomey. Toomey hauled down, got the shot away, but a weak one. Here's Quinlan the drive, and that's deflected wide of the goal. Good pressure here by the big line of the Pioneers. Rollick goes down in behind the net, gets up, has possession, feeds the point. Schmaltzbauer's shot is blocked. Good defensive play by Andy O'Brien, who also has the goal for Hibbing in this game. Now puck cleared to the line, kept in by Fabian, moves in, shooting just wide. Fabian's got a good shot from the point, but now puck comes out to center, and here is a break, but the defensive Hill Murray was able to recover, and now Quinlan has one the other way. Quinlan in, shooting. There's the save. Rebound. Toomey trying to stay with it. Can't get a shot on goal. Toomey still has it and still is holding on. We've got a penalty coming up to Hibbing. Goaltender Horvath's out of the goal, but the Blue Jackets touch the puck, and we'll get a penalty against the Hibbing Blue Jackets. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Get back, and move.
Well, as the puck was taken down the ice by Andy O'Brien, all of a sudden a check was thrown on him, and the puck came back down the ice. Hibbing got caught in a line change. He had too many men on the ice. Hill Murray continued to put pressure on. There was a delayed penalty for 15 seconds or so, but Hill Murray wasn't giving up possession of the puck. Consequently, they had 2 or 3 chances. When they finally did turn it over, then the penalty was called, and Hill Murray, which has been putting on tremendous pressure on Rich Jacklin right now on the power play with his game tied at 1-1, 7:11 to go.
Tom Pascuzzi will serve the penalty. And And Hill Murray's 3 for 7 in the tournament. So let's see what they do on this power play. Now Horvath was tied up with the Hibbing Blue Jacket behind the net. Steve Terrell, and they're both going to get the game.
Well, Horvath and Terrell.
Blue. Number 1 white both minus for roughing.
Now that's what you call a good penalty, Chris. The reason why it's a good penalty, you'd rather have a 4-on-3 than a 5-on-4. So you're going to have that. In professional hockey, they have coincidental minors, so it'd stay 5-on-4. Also, we see the two roughing behind the net there, Terrell and Horvath. Also, Hill Murray is getting Steve Terrell off, who is a key man killing penalty. So right now, Hill Murray gets more than the 5% advantage. They're getting a distinct advantage having the top penalty killer off the ice as well.
Todd Valento will serve Rick Horvath's penalty. Of course, Terrell will serve his own. And it's 4 skaters against 3. And there's a lot of open ice. Girardi, the lone forward for the Hibbing Blue Jackets to kill the penalty. And it'll be like this for 1:40 unless the Pioneers score. Here's Sean Fabian. Fabian moves in looking for Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson, number 10, in the corner. Feeds back to Fabian. Fabian winding up. That shot was blocked and goes to the corner. Johnson again. Quinlan's out in front. Johnson hangs on. Fabian now across to Rollick. Rollick moves in. Fabian, high slot, shooting, and a big stop by Rich Jacklin. It's Fabian again. There's the shot, scores!
Nothing Rich Jacklin could do on that. He had 3 people standing in front of him. 2 of his players, 1 of Hill Murray, and Sean Fabian waited. He looked for an opening. You'll see him get the puck right out here, 30 feet away. He walks in, he takes a look right there, just right through traffic. There's no way Jacklin could have seen that. He hits the far corner. Hill Murray going ahead 2-1 on their second power play goal of the evening. A fine play by Sean Fabian, taking his time looking and letting go and hitting the far side.
It looked like the Blue Jackets had too many guys standing right in front of the goal crease. There's 3 in a row.
If you're going to stand in front at that time, and you're a head man, you might as well fall and block the shot because the goaltender has no chance to see it.
6'1", 190-pound junior defenseman Sean Fabian with the power play goal at 8:43, and that's the 4th power play goal for Hill Murray in the tournament, 2nd of the game. And it's 2-1 for the Pioneers. Blue Jackets, though, have the puck. Joe Gostad looking to center it. Puck goes in behind the net. And now the Pioneers come up with it. Big Tom Quinlan skating out to center. It's 4-on-4. Quinlan bursting in. He's knocked down. And the puck slides outside the line. Back to get it, Tony Schmaltzbauer. Lead pass is intercepted, and Joe Gostad has it. Gostad in ahead to O'Brien for John Rue. Rue lost his balance. Tom Quinlan is able to get it out to center. Now Gostad coming back in. He lost his balance as he was hit by Quinlan. And here comes Fabian. Looked for Quinlan, but Quinlan is on the late stages of a shift and didn't have any gas left. Now a long pass up ice. Pete Wallers is out with Doug Terrell. They move it into the zone for Hibbing. It's 2-1 for the Pioneers. They've scored the last 2 after the Blue Jackets opened the scoring in the first period. Doug Terrell takes a hit, broke his stick on the play. Wallers will feed the point. Here comes the shot. That's weak and wide. And now both teams back at full strength as the players come out of the penalty box. Tom Schock has it at center. He takes a hit, just gets rid of it, and here comes Hibbing. Inside the line, Terrell shooting. That hit a skate. There's a shot. They score! Brother Doug on the other side has tied it for the Blue Jackets.
Well, Doug Terrell getting the rebound, as last night we saw Steve Terrell come across with that same move, only shot it towards the net, and Schwartz deflected. And this time, a deflection off the Hill Murray defenseman skate goes right over to Doug Terrell on the far side, just coming on a line change. You'll see him on the top of your screen, number 17, getting a wide open net as that puck deflected off Schock's skate. There's nothing that the defenseman can do. He blocked it. You'll see him right here. He's going to block that shot right there over to Doug Terrell. All alone, he hits the upper corner. Last night, we saw Steve Terrell come down the ice. He made the same move. He sort of spins, looks towards the net. He fired at the net last night. Schwartz deflected it in. Tonight, it's brother Doug putting that one on up on the high side and tying this game at 2.
That's the younger Terrell brother, Doug, a sophomore, but yet his second tournament. He played as a freshman last year. Steve Terrell gets an assist along with Mike Hardy at 10-20, so it's a 2-2 tie. The Blue Jackets in Hill Murray living up this game, living up to expectations, that's for sure.
That's true, Chris. Great pace, good speed, good chances, a lot of excitement here tonight.
It has the air of a championship game, but this is only the semifinal. The winner has to take on Burnsville tomorrow night. 4 minutes remaining in this second period, and it's been a good one as it's cleared in by Blummer. Offside is the call. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Each of these clubs getting opportunities to score goals, but we only have each of them having 2. The game's tied 2-2, 3:56 to go in the second period.
Hibbing has possession in their own zone. A pass slides into the center ice zone. And this is Andy O'Brien, checked from behind by Trey Toomey. Schmaltzbauer out to center, and Joe Gostad's there. He'll work it back in. Good rushing defenseman, centers it in front. It's loose and knocked wide of the goal. Toomey trying to clear the zone, but the Blue Jackets are applying pressure. Here they come. It's out in front. There's a shot wide of the mark. So this line of Girardi, Rue, and O'Brien is causing some trouble in the Pioneer zone. Now Tom Quinlan races after it. And look at Jacklin out of his goal, and he clears it to center. Here comes Doug Terrell over the line. He couldn't get the puck, and now Quinlan turns. Big number 17 for Hill Murray. Nice move there over the line. Check from behind, and we've got another penalty coming up against Hibbing. And so that big Hill Murray power play will go back into effect. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, goal scorer Doug Terrell, who just tied this game up minutes ago, now serving a high-sticking penalty for high-sticking Tom Quinlan, as Quinlan was breaking in on a 1-on-3, but his big size was propelling him towards the net, and Terrell took him down with a high stick.
Here's Sean Fabian, the goal scorer in the last power play. This time his shot is blocked by Steve Terrell. You know, Hill Murray has operated at over 50% efficiency on the power play this year. That's quite a mark. But then again, Hibbing, until tonight, had killed off 88.6% of their shorthanded situations, which is also a very good mark. And here's a stolen puck, working his way in. There's a shot. Horvath making the save off Pete Wallers, who had 2 goals last night against Bemidji, and almost had one there shorthanded. Back into the zone comes Toomey, backhand, and he whistled that one through the crease. That was close. Mark Johnson to Quinlan. Quinlan out in front, back to the point. Rollick to Fabian, back to Rollick. He's challenged, clears it in, loose puck, and it's picked up by Wallers. And here is a one-on-one situation. Wallers against Fabian, but Mark Johnson came back to make the check. Good play by Johnson. Now it's Trey Toomey at the line with Quinlan. Toomey shooting, and there's a tough save by Jacklin, who was handcuffed but held on.
Well, Trey Toomey hadn't seen that he just had help coming down. He would have had a 3-on-2. Besides that, he was tired, as is Quinlan. You can see him bent over going off. They were on for quite some time, and they had a 3-on-2. And here's a shot from way out by Trey Toomey. Jacklin getting a piece of it, but as it goes towards the goal crease, Jacklin was just able to pull it back.
Did you see that with the defenseman's stick? No wonder he had trouble. His stick was broken, so a heads-up play by the defenseman who gave his stick away, and Jacklin with a good stop. You know, Trey Toomey certainly knows how to find the net. He is the highest scoring player coming into the tournament, had 59 points in regular season action.
One of the reasons why, when you saw him earlier in that power play coming down the ice. He's got a great change of speed. He came up to the defenseman 1-on-2, and all of a sudden he accelerated. He went around the outside. Then he backhanded that puck across the front. He missed the net, but that allowed him to get the opportunity, that change of speed, by breaking around the defense. It's real tough to defense a man that's a smooth skater and can shift gears so much. Neil Broughton's exceptional at that, and that's one of the reasons why. Mark Messier, another one that you're so familiar with, Chris, doing their games up there in Edmonton.
Great burst of speed. Defenseman thinks he's got the player, and boom, he turns on the afterburners, and it's a breakaway like Toomey just had. And here he is again. 38 seconds left in the man advantage for the Pioneers of Hill Murray. There's an open man, Johnson, and he one-timed it wide of the goal, but that was the setup play, and they had Johnson alone. Now Johnson has the puck again. It comes in the slot. Quinlan firing it, and it went off the goal post. Jacklin made the stop, and the puck rolled to the post. Close call, and they'll hold it for a face-off.
Well, Quinlan was in the crease, and I believe they're going to take the face-off outside. That's what happened.
16 seconds left in the man advantage.
Look at Quinlan, number 17. He takes a shot right from the doorstep. The save was made. It hit the pipe, and Jacklin just cleared that puck. But Quinlan's real big, tough to handle in front of that net, and that's what's given Jacklin so much problems. He's tying up their defenseman, and Hill Murray's got two people to work that puck around.
Sean Fabian up ahead for Mark Johnson in the late stages of this man advantage, and now it's cleared away. And under a minute to play in the second period, and the Hibbing Blue Jackets return to full strength. So they kill off that penalty after the Hill Murray Pioneers clicked on 2 power play goals earlier. A lead pass for Johnson. He's hauled down by Terrell. No call that time, and some of the Pioneer fans were expecting one. Now here come the Blue Jackets out to center, over the line. There's a shot in on Horvath. The rebound is just cleared away, and now the net is off its moorings, and play is whistled down.
Well, you saw Kel Huseman going right for the net. He saw the shot coming, and he wanted to be there in case there was a rebound. Rick Horvath a little upset, thinking that he should have been interfered with, but here's the shot from way out. Number 2, Huseman, he's breaking for the net right here, going for that rebound. He plows right into the goaltender, moves the net off its moorings, and Horvath thought that he did it intentionally and the faceoff should come outside, but it really was taken in there by Huseman by one of the Hill Murray defensemen, so the faceoff's to Horvath's right.
Looked like it was Craig Quinlan who helped Huseman into the goal crease from the point, or from the faceoff. It was Wallers with the shot over the goal. And again, in the late stages of a period, it is the Hibbing Blue Jackets getting scoring chances. Just 20 seconds remaining as the puck is cleared down the ice. Todd Valento giving chase. Valento taken to the boards. After it's Barichka. Barichka checked by Wallers. Moving in is Blummer. There's Valento. He tried to pass it for Barichka, but they're going to go to the locker room tied once again. It was 1-1 after 1, and it's 2-2 after 2, and it's been a good one between the Hill Murray Pioneers and the Hibbing Blue Jackets.
Well, the pace and intensity of the first period carries over into the second. Another outstanding period for both clubs, each of them having super opportunities. Hill Murray probably a few more since they were on that power play, but Rich Jacklin in the net for Hill Murray, for Hibbing, really stymied Hill Murray time and time again there.
I wonder what the Burnsville Braves are thinking right now. Two teams are playing very well on the ice, and it's going to be a good third period. Now let's go down to Sports Control.
Thank you, Chris and Lou. This game certainly does have all the earmarkings of a dead even game. These two teams are even. They scrimmaged earlier this year. That was up north in Hibbing, and they scrimmaged for 2 hours. It came out 1 goal was scored, and that was by a defenseman, Tom Schock of Hill Murray, so they are dead even.
Ralph, if there's a more exciting sporting event going on in this country tonight, high school, college, or pro, I'd like to know what it is. You just can't beat this kind of entertainment. Both teams going full out after 2 periods. Let's now toss it over to Tony Parker with a very special guest. Tony?
Here's a guy from Hibbing High School. You can guess who he's for and who he is. This is, of course, the Honorable Rudy Perpich, our governor. And Rudy, I'm sure you're here rooting. I've heard you, as a matter of fact, screaming and hollering for Hibbing.
Yep.
Let me ask you about your constituency in the Hill Murray area.
Well, I think they understand. I'm a graduate of Hibbing, and, you know, we really need an uplift up there. And this a state championship would give them a shot in the arm and make the town feel better. We've experienced some real difficult times for the last 5 years.
This game tonight is really not as rough as the Bemidji Hibbing game was, although it's rough enough, and people are calling it Iron Range style hockey.
Of course, the Bemidji started off, you know, rough and tough, and of course it went through the whole game then. I think the Hill Murray team is, it's a championship team. We're going to have a tough time.
Okay, you know, you're involved in sports even if you're a governor these days, especially. You're talking about the NBA on Channel 4 News the other night.
Yeah.
We've got horse racing. You're talking lottery.
Yeah.
You've got to be a real sports nut or a fan to be a governor.
I've always been a sports fan, and the problem is being governor, I haven't had time to go to the ball games. When I had time, I always, you know, even during the regular season, I've liked hockey and basketball.
Well, you've certainly been a good sport about this, and believe me, no connotation you being in a penalty box.
Okay.
Okay, Governor Rudy Purvis, now back to sports control.
All right, thank you, Tony, and Governor Purvis. And I'm sure if Hibbing does win the state championship, Governor Purvis would be the one to hand him that state title. Wouldn't that be great?
It's 2-2 after 2, and this is live continuing coverage of the 1986 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Well, earlier when we were talking with Don Shelby about learning the game of hockey, he said, how do they know when you know, like the referees, when there are too many men on the ice? That happened to Hibbing, and it cost them a goal because in the power play, maybe we can ask Louis about that in a bit. But here it was with about midway through the period, too many men on the ice, and Hibbing is shorthanded, 4-on-3 power play. Number 2, Sean Fabian, unassisted. And Fabian was a forward last year, has been moved to defense. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds, a power play goal, 4-on-3. Hill Murray takes a 2-1 lead.
But with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the period, the Terrell brothers combined to tie the game up for Hibbing. Steve Terrell took the shot and went off a Hill Murray defenseman right there, and his younger brother, Doug Terrell, was Johnny on the spot to beat Ricky Horvath to tie it. Here's another look at it. Steve Terrell, their big, rangy defenseman, nice wrist shot. It went off the defenseman, and there's Doug Terrell, who the Hibbing people tell me has a chance to be as good as all those Micheletti brothers who came out of Hibbing, and we know they were some good ones.
Bill Olson, head coach of Hibbing, was saying before the game, he really isn't certain, you know, in the state tournament about the switching goaltenders, but he says we've done it, we're going to stick with it, but I think he's happy he did.
Rich Jacqueline's playing a big league game, as is Ricky Horvath. Both came up with big scintillating saves near the end of that period, so we stand at 2-all. This is continuing coverage of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Well, you know, the number 3 must have been a favorite number of the person who invented the game of hockey. There are 3 periods in a hockey game. There are 3 goals to make up a hat trick. The state tournament is played over 3 days. Now the number 3 has a new meaning at Hill Murray High School. Count them. 1, 2, 3. They're the mascots of the Hill Murray Pioneers. They wouldn't miss Hill Murray hockey games for anything in the world. Well, there is one thing, maybe. That is, if the Hill Murray hockey game falls on the same date as one of their hockey games. You see, this trio of identical triplets, 9-year-old Matt, Andy, and Nick, all skate on the same line on a squirt hockey team in St. Paul. Andy, Matt, and Nick can't wait to get bigger so they can play for Hill Murray. And so that their last name will fit across their jersey. You see, it's Andy, Nick, and Matt Truskolaski. We have a mutual admiration society here. Hill Murray players also cheer for their mascots. In this game, Sean Fabian, Steve Rollick, and Rick Horvath all gave their vocal support as the Truskolaski line scores a goal, and it's time for the high freeze. Hill Murray players, to show team unity, all had their heads shaved off during last year's state tournament. So guess what's next? Yep, the Truskolaski trio can't be running around the St. Paul Civic Center this week with a full head of hair, so it's off with the locks, and we now have 3 more skinheads in the fold. And I want you to know that these guys are really easy to tell apart. Once you just take a look at them, they're easy to tell apart. This is Matt. This guy right here is Nick, and that one over there is Andy. Was I right, guys? Yeah. You're easy to, you know, you can tell that, can't you? And their dad, Greg, and their mother, Sue, also attended Hill Murray. You guys are going where now to school?
Hill.
Hill, when you grow up, huh? So I guess we can look for another line. How'd you like to do play-by-play with these guys? Truskolaski to Truckolaski. A scoring on that goal, huh? Well, listen, you guys have a good time. We'll see you back in the state tournament here, playing in it in about 6 or 7 years. How's that? Okay? You guys are easy to tell apart. See you later. Go enjoy the rest of the game, okay? Okay, see you guys. There you have it, the Truckaleskies. Hill Murray fans, this is continuing coverage of the 1986 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Could you believe that Truckaleski line? 1, 2, 3, Matt, Nick, and Andy.
Pretty good hockey players.
They are good hockey players. They had over 150 points between them, and I think 3 points separated the three of them.
Terry Skrypick may be looking at him in about 6-7 years from now.
I'm sure he will.
Hill Murray. Let's look at the total saves now in the game, and it's pretty even. Horvath with 17 and Rich Jacklin for Hibbing 18. Really indicative of how close this game is. Hibbing and Hill Murray are tied at 2-all. WCCO television production facilities have been provided in part by Hilltop Trailer Sales in Northeast Minneapolis, a leader in the RV business since 1951. Well, 1 year ago tonight, Hill Murray defeated Hibbing 4-3 in overtime in the quarterfinals. We may be headed for such a game again. Let's turn it upstairs to Chris and Lou.
You certainly have that feeling. You know, every statistic is dead even except one, and that is penalties. And Hibbing's got to stay out of the penalty box.
Well, that's right. And Hibbing really had an unfortunate thing happen to him. When we were talking about the 5-on-4 versus 4-on-3, when Horvath took that penalty, that gave him an extra 5% advantage, Hill Murray, because instead of having a 20% advantage, you got a 25% advantage. On top of that, I think a mistake was made down on the ice. If you notice, Todd Valento served that penalty for Hill Murray. When a goalie gets a penalty, it should be someone off the ice. Valento was not on the ice, and yet they allowed him to come off the bench, serve the penalty, which allowed Hill Murray, with his best shooters on the ice, to keep him on the ice. So they got twofold, double advantage there.
They maintained their best power play, right? Nevertheless, it all went according to the way Hill Murray wanted it, and they ended up with a goal by Sean Fabian, and it is 2-2 after 2 periods of play, and it's going to be a heck of a third.
Well, I would think that the coach talked to the Hibbing players about staying out of the penalty box. Hill Murray not only has that very potent power play, over 50% during the regular season. Right now they're at 40%. Fortunately for Hibbing, they are getting better killing the penalties. They are doing a better job, being more aggressive, going at the Hill Murray forwards, making them move the puck. The toughest problem for Hibbing on the power play has been Tom Quinlan in front of the net. He just screens the goaltender, ties up defensemen, and he allows Hill Murray to move that puck around until they get open shots, as Sean Fabian had with a lot of traffic set up in front of Jacklin. Jacklin's got no chance. A shot taken in the net.
There's a look at Bill Olson. And I wonder what's going on through his mind right now. He was talking about how emotional last night's game was, and this is very much like it. And there's Terry Skrypick, who has been through this before. Hibbing was the 1973 state champion, and Hill Murray won in 1983. And the Pioneers are looking for their third berth in the final in 4 years. Underway with the third period, and it's a 2-2 tie. The teams starting at full strength. There's a loose puck in front. Jacklin can't get on top of it. It's still loose, and that was almost disaster for the Blue Jackets right off the bat here in this third period. Hill Murray continues to put on the pressure as Quinlan's had a backhand blocked, and now finally Husman gets possession. Cal Husman's had a strong game on defense. He has his clearing shot blocked. Stops behind the net and now clears it around the boards. Hill Murray trying to put on pressure in the early going. There's his shot off of Jacklin. Around on the near side, Schmaltzbauer the drive, and that didn't miss by much with Quinlan in front. Pioneers off to a good start. John Rue now trying to get possession for Hibbing along with Girardi, and they finally get it out to center. Steve Rollick turns across to Schmaltzbauer. Schmaltzbauer puts it right back in on Jacklin. Moving onto the puck is Johnson. He's out on a line change. And now the Blue Jackets get possession. Around the boards it comes, but Craig Quinlan keeps it in at the point. There's Johnson. He has Miller in front, but the pass is blocked. And finally, Hibbing will carry it out of their own zone. This is Gostad. Nice move in, firing, and Horvath got a piece of that. Great rush by Joe Gostad.
And he made a move to his forehand, which is the most difficult move for a puck carrier to do. And that's what allowed him to get in all alone.
Now the Pioneers clear it back in. That's Johnson after it. He takes a hit from Hardy. Following up on the play is Garraby. He feeds it back. Here's Valento cruising in, sliding it through. He scores! Todd Valento.
Valento taking that pass from Garraby, goes towards the net. He's got nothing to shoot at. He's on the short side. Jacklin goes down to block it. The original shot by Valento was just trying to stuff in the corner, was blocked by Jacklin, but the puck came loose, and Valento was able to push it through his legs. You see, Valento with nothing to shoot at, cut for the net. Jacklin holding his ground and makes the initial save right there. The puck's coming loose right between his legs. Valento with his size stopped where he should, right in front, and pushed it in.
He has great size, 6'2", 205, and he just powered his way in and sticks it through the pads at 1:54 of the third period, and the Hill Murray Pioneers lead 3-2. And getting assists on the goal.
Well, Quinlan kept it in, and then the puck went to Garraby. He gave the pass over to Valento. Valento scored, so it'll be Valento from Garraby and Quinlan.
And Quinlan, right. 3-2 early in the third, and that has to be a real emotional lift for the Hill Murray Pioneers, and it works in reverse for the Hibbing Blue Jackets.
Well, Valento did what many people don't do. He stopped after the initial shot and got the rebound. Too often puck carriers go to the net, they take the shot, and they continue on by the net, and the rebound's lying there. Valento stopped. He was in position to put that rebound right between Jacklin's legs and give Hill Murray the lead.
From the face-off, the Blue Jackets come back, and there's a shot by Wallers just off the mark. Here's a shot from the point, deflected just wide. And now a penalty is coming up against the Pioneers, so Hibbing will have a big chance. Terrell to the point. Wallers shot, scores! A deflection off Pete Waller's drive. It's tied at 3.
Well, that shot could have deflected a couple of times. Waller, who's had an outstanding game tonight, kept that puck in just over the blue line. He shot. The puck could have hit, it hit Jeff Blummer, and also could have hit one of his men right in front. You'll see the shot from Wallers right here from the blue line. There's the initial deflection by Blummer, and it might have also hit right in front of the net Tom Sullivan, but it definitely was deflected, and that's why Horvath was handcuffed. There's a shot, the original deflection by Blummer, and it could have had a double deflection by Sullivan. Here's another look at it. There's the one deflection, and that could have been the second one. It definitely did hit Blummer's stick. Well, Sullivan got it also, so a double deflection. Sullivan from Wallers tying this game.
That's a big thrill for Tom Sullivan, and it didn't take long for the Blue Jackets. They only needed 22 seconds to tie the game. It's 3-3.
Well, Wallers deserves something tonight. He's been just outstanding all night long.
Okay, Sullivan from Wallers and Pascuzzi is the official at 2:16, and it's been a great start to the third period. Gostad keeps it in at the point. Blue Jackets have some life now after that quick answer to the Hill Murray Pioneer goal. So with the score, Hibbing 3, Hill Murray 3, this is Hockey 86, live from the St. Paul Civic Center. Bill Olson keeping that emotional level high at the Hibbing bench. They certainly showed some character bouncing back that quickly. There's a chance in front, and Horvath shows us his glove hand.
Well, John Schwartz got that shot away. He didn't get as much on it as he wanted to. He shot that puck and it was moving a little bit. Watch this shot. It's bouncing, so he gets it going, and it was just sort of fluttering in the air, but Horvath was able to make the save. Horvath better watch that. He threw the puck away after, and the referee's got to go and get it. If you don't watch when you're throwing that puck, sometimes it sticks in your glove and goes over the glass, and you get a delay of game penalty.
Terrell on the draw against Toomey, or Rollick, excuse me, and Rollick comes up with the puck. Up ahead to Toomey. Toomey taking off the puck, and it's John Schwartz. A long lead pass on the far side to Zabachnik, and it was too far. Now it's Toomey into Rollick. Quinlan cruising on the right wing. Couldn't take the pass. Quinlan tried to center it. but it ends up on the Hibbing Blue Jacket stick, and John Schwartz will clear the zone, and this is icing against Hibbing. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, Wallers isn't in position to get to that shooter right now. If they lose the draw, he would have been in deep trouble.
Hibbing gets the puck, though, into the corner, and now it's brought out. That's Mark Johnson circling, feeds the point, but it gets by Fabian, and Wallers might have a break. Wallers diving for it, but Schmaltzbauer alertly got back first. That Pete Wallers has been a dangerous man for Hibbing tonight. Pascuzzi in his own zone, off the boards, and now Wallers helps it into the zone. Wallers, Terrell, and Sullivan are out. That's the line that tied the score for Hibbing here in the third period. It's 3-3. Sullivan takes his man to the boards, and it comes back to Horvath. Now Fabian being chased down, but he stays with the puck and carries it out nicely. On the left side, Miller overskated it. Now Terrell backhands it into Hill Murray territory. Schmaltzbauer around the boards for Dan Miller. Miller up ahead to Johnson. He sidestepped the check, but Girardi comes up with it. Here's Paul Girardi scooting in. There's a shot. Horvath made the save on that sharp angle drive. Now out at center ice. It's fed ahead on the left wing. Too far for Girardi. It slides down into the Hill Murray zone, and Fabian's there. Sean Fabian, watch out, he'll get checked. And it's Girardi in the corner, centers it out in front. Puck comes to the point. There's the drive, and that went wide off the stick of Mike Hardy. On the other side, a shot kicked out by Rick Horvath. Now Horvath is knocked down, and he's upset. He's going to have to maintain his composure in the net, and they tie it up for a faceoff.
You're right, Chris. He turned his back to the puck in the corner and started arguing with the referee. He's very lucky that a shot wasn't taken at the net. He's got to maintain control of himself, because right now he's more concerned about who's in front of him than he is about the puck. It's one thing if you're going to play. Here he is. Look at Horvath when he gets taken down there. Now watch. He's going to get up and go talk to the referee instead of worrying about where the puck is. You start playing like that, now if Hibbing's right, they'll continue to try and get close to him, but they can't go through the crease. The moment they go in the crease, the faceoff comes outside. In pro, you can skate through the crease, and that's what you would do to try and get him to lose his composure.
Are you sure that isn't Billy Smith in goal there? It's kept in by the Blue Jackets. Here's an opportunity. Schwartz is in front, but they couldn't get him the puck. And now it's shot down the ice by Hill Murray, and this could be icing against the Pioneers. And it is. 9:46 left with the score. Hibbing 3, Hill Murray 3. This is Hockey 86, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Hill Murray allowing the Blue Jacket to be all alone on the left side of the faceoff circle there. If Terrell wins that draw left, they're going to be able to get a good shot away here. There
From
it is.
the faceoff, they do get the shot. Horvath has to be alert.
They've got to pull someone up on the hash marks there to take that man.
That's been a story in the tournament. So many good shots and goals right from faceoff.
There he is. He's all alone on the left side. Kel Huseman, and Terrell just went to him. He did it again.
And they get another shot, weak as it is, but Horvath has to steer it to the corner. And now Hill Murray gets it to the line, but it's kept in. Now the Pioneers work it out, and a pass to Valento. He has a goal in the third period for Hill Murray. Todd Valento, number 11, with the puck. Backhands it in front. And it's now the Hibbing Blue Jackets working back. Steve Terrell with John Schwartz, and the pass for Schwartz was just ahead of him. Gostad to Terrell. Steve Terrell, the senior and a captain on this team, can't get loose, and it comes back out to center. Gostad. Now it's fired to the blue line, and Craig Quinlan has it there. He just takes a shot down deep in Hibbing territory. Pioneers make wholesale changes. 8:53 remaining in the third period. It's 3-3. Here's Trey Toomey, and he took a check from Pete Wallers. Otherwise, he might have been in. Now the puck is off the linesman. They bat away at it, and Toomey takes control. Trey Toomey, the slick center, moves in. There's a shot. That's blocked. Toomey gets his own rebound. trying to center it, but he is tied up along the boards by Mike Hardy, and they hold it for a face-off.
Well, Mike Hardy made sure Toomey wasn't going to come by him. He blocked the shot, then he took the puck over in the corner, took Toomey with him, and got the face-off, getting the line change. Right now, the flow isn't as smooth as you'd like to see, but basically it's because of the intensity and the speed and the checking ability. Both clubs going all out.
From the face-off, the Blue Jackets had it, lost control, backhand on Jacklin, and he made 2 saves. And now they tie it up. And apparently the net just came off its moorings, but again from a face-off, a couple of good scoring chances.
And those two coming real good backhand shots. When you get 2 backhand shots like Steve Rollick, there occasionally you might get a goal because it's tough to follow that puck.
It's loose in the circle momentarily, and now the puck comes out to the line and is shot out to center. Steve Stavnes knocking it down into Hill Murray territory. And this is Fabian. On the left side, Steve Rollick, who is the team barber. He got all the players to shave their heads a few weeks ago. There's a shot, deflection, scores! It's Rollick.
Steve Rollick getting that deflection from the shot from the blue line by Sean Fabian, set up 15 feet in front of the net. Really got excited when he deflected that one by, because the goals have been hard to come by for them. But a real good deflection. Look at Rollick, number 19, fighting off a check, getting the stick on it in front of the net. So Rollick deflecting Sean Fabian's shot after Fabian had taken the pass from Toomey, tying this game.
That goal comes at 7:13. Rollick from Fabian and Toomey. There's a look at Steve Rollick, who also got the Clippers out for himself.
Boy, was he excited. He was jumping in the air, and he made a great deflection. He was fighting off a check. And as he did that, he was able to get a stick on it. And actually, that one put Hill Murray ahead 4-3 right now with just 7:37 to go.
Can the Blue Jackets come back again? They answered quickly the last time Hill Murray took the lead. But Mark Johnson has it for the Pioneers now. It's Johnson starting down the ice. He gets by Hardy down into the corner. Now takes another hit, and it's cleared around the boards on the near side. Miller gets it to Garraby. He lost it, and John Schwartz starts back. Here's Schwartz firing it in, and Horvath had trouble with that, and it almost beat him. Close call there. Now the Blue Jackets putting on pressure as they put it through the goal crease. Pinching in is Sullivan, but Dan Miller has possession for Hill Murray. Miller having some trouble with it, now gets it out to center and just gets rid of it there. It's fired back in by Husman. Now it's Craig Quinlan for Hill Murray. A long lead pass and a good one. This is Blummer firing. Jacklin with the stop. It goes up over the glass and out of play. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, Hibbing's not going to give up, trailing 4-3 with 6:32 to go. They stormed that Hill Murray net. They got a couple of chances. A long shot from Schwartz went right through goaltender Horvath, just missed the corner.
Doug Terrell, Wallers, and Sullivan are out for Hibbing, and here goes Terrell. He's got Wallers on the right. There's the pass, and it goes. And Wallers couldn't get a good shot away. He was all turned around. That's a tough break because the Blue Jackets had a great scoring chance. As it's whistled down on the offside. Wow.
Good move by Steve Terrell. He was breaking towards the net. He stopped up short so he can have room to operate. At the same time, Waller's breaking for that net. Was able to just get his stick on it. He couldn't quite control it. And here we see Doug Terrell going, stopping, making a fine pass right there. And as Wallers is going to the net, Sean Fabian just checked him enough to get a stick off that puck.
Blue Jackets seem to dig a little deeper when they're down. Let's see how far they can dig. Right now, Todd Valeno digs it free and sends it on the right wing for Blummer, and he is hit hard against the boards. Here's the pass for Blummer, but he's lost his stick, and there's Schmaltzbauer decking a member of the Blue Jackets. So they're starting to throw their weight around. 5:45 remaining, and they call it on a delayed offside as Hibbing took some time getting it out of the zone.
It's a good thing Schmaltzbauer got a piece of him. Otherwise, it would have been a 3-on-1 because everybody else from Hill Murray was caught up deep. Hibbing continuing to press. There's forechecking with a great deal of intensity right now. They know they've got to get that next goal. 5:45 to go, trailing 4-3. A superb hockey game here all night long. Outstanding action. I can't see the championship game being any better than this.
Here's Tom Quinlan, or Rollick with a chance. Rollick feeds it to Toomey. Quinlan's in front. Toomey has the puck. In it goes to Rollick. There's Quinlan. The shot didn't have a whole lot on it. Jacklin kicks it out. Quinlan takes his man to the boards. It's loose behind the net. Cleared around by Gostad. Can they get it out of the zone? Yes, as Girardi sends ahead to John Roux. Roux's shot well wide of the net, and they'd like to get that line of Girardi, Roux, and O'Brien scoring again. They had a goal in the first period. Now it's Steve Terrell, big number 19, working his way into the zone, waits for his teammates to catch up. Now it's cleared around the boards by Zabotnik. On the other side, Schwartz is checked by Tony Schmaltzbauer. Here's Schmaltzbauer, long shot wide of the goal. Quinlan moves in. Quinlan taken to the glass with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to play in regulation time. It's 4-3 Hill Murray. The last time these two teams met in an official game, it was a 4-3 overtime win for the Pioneers in last year's state tournament quarterfinal.
I wonder if these two teams know any other score.
Hibbing hopes so, because they'd like to get another goal. Here's a loose puck. Garrity the drive. Jacklin with the glove hand, and he'll hold on.
Fine stop by Richie Jacklin right there. Garrity coming across. He shot right in stride. He knows how to score on Hibbing. He had the good fortune of scoring that winner last year.
Are the Blue Jackets starting to gamble, or do you wait a little longer for that?
Oh, they've been gambling a little already, but what they're doing is they're shooting the puck from too far out right now. They've got to start getting control of that blue line of Hill Murray and getting closer. They've been taking too many shots from the blue line, not putting them on the net.
Gostad, a long lead pass for Wallers, who's cruising in the neutral zone. Now here's Doug Terrell. Terrell into the zone, trying to center it. Horvath knocked it off his stick. Defenseman pinches in, and the puck is deflected over the glass and out of play. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
For those of you that are college hockey fans, Denver beat the University of Minnesota Duluth Branch 8-2 tonight in the first game of the Total Goal Series in Denver.
From the faceoff, Hibbing gets possession. O'Brien can't get loose. And now it's Hill Murray clearing it down into the Hibbing zone. Valento trying to center it. There's Husman. He passes it around the boards. O'Brien, the long lead pass for John Roux. That was just a stride too far, and it's cleared out to center. Down to 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in regulation time. The Blue Jackets trail by 1. Here's Blummer, hit as he crossed the line, and Hibbing just sends it out to center. And they tie it up in front of the Hibbing bench for a faceoff.
And the body checking is sure picked up in the latter stages of this hockey game. Now you could see each of the players going at that puck with more intensity, making sure that they're taking the man out so no one's getting free.
If Hill Murray continues to lead and wins this game, it will set up the first championship final rematch since 1963-64, when St. Paul Johnson and International Falls went to the final game 2 years in a row.
I'm certain that Burnsville doesn't care who they play because both of them are good.
Here's a chance and a shot and a goal. Trey Toomey. And it's a 2-goal Hill Murray lead.
Trey Toomey took that deflected shot to the right of Jacklin. He came in, Toomey on his forehand, had a good angle. You see a shot right here. It's going to get deflected off the skate. And sure enough, it goes right to Trey Toomey. He settled that puck down, was able to put it up and over Jacklin. Toomey had to make a smart move. That puck was rolling towards him, but because he's on a good forehand angle right here, he's got that extra 6 feet to shoot at on the far side, and that's what he hit, giving Hill Murray what looks like a commanding lead right now with 2:41 to go, 5-3. And we could have our first rematch of that final game last year.
That's his second of the tournament, 23rd of the year. Trey Toomey may have broken the backs of the Hibbing Blue Jackets.
And those backs are pretty tough to break because Hibbing has been a superb hockey club here tonight. We look at Coach Bill Olson checking the clock. He's going to let his players know when he wants that goaltender pulled.
Toomey's line mates get assists on the goal. Tom Quinlan, another point, along with Steve Rollick. And it was Rollick who put Hill Murray ahead just a few minutes ago. So it's a 5-3 score.
Well, Hibbing had the good fortune to have a deflected puck off a defenseman's skate go to one of their people when they got a goal. Now Hill Murray gets the opportunity. Trey Toomey taking that deflection off a defenseman's leg and puts it by Richie Jacklin for a 2-goal lead. 5-3 Hill Murray, 2:41 to go.
Tell you, Lou, 17,233 on hand tonight, and they can't say they weren't entertained. This has been a great hockey game. Pete Wallers now trying to get Hibbing back in it. Wallers over the line. Number 14's had a strong game. It comes to the point. There's a shot, and the loose puck is knocked to the corner. Mike Sullivan is there trying to dig it free, but the Pioneers get it outside the line. And now Hill Murray on the counter. Here it is in front. There's the backhand as Miller put it high and over the net. You'll see a lot of that now because Hibbing has to gamble, and they may get caught up ice.
They certainly will. Nick Garraby made the fine play there to Miller. A good backhand pass.
Here's a breakaway for Doug Terrell moving in. He tries to jam it, scores! It's not over yet.
It certainly isn't, and Doug Terrell just wouldn't quit. He got that break all alone, went in and Horvath. Horvath made the initial save. Terrell standing right there in the goal crease with Horvath in the puck. Here he comes. Bangs the rebound in. Here's Terrell. Good speed, cuts for the net. He goes in, gets the initial shot right now, and he'll stand there after that and get the rebound and just bang the rebound right through the legs and home. Boy, oh boy, this Hibbing club will not quit. Look at Terrell again, leaning towards the inside, cutting with speed, getting the initial shot away and stopping. Fortunately, he stopped there.
I'll tell you, this kid's a sophomore. I want to see him when he's a senior. He's a great prospect. Second goal of the game, and it's no wonder those comparisons are being made up in Hibbing.
Good size, too. Already a sophomore at 6 feet, 175. Good idea above the game. He knows enough to cut for the net. He knows to stop. He's made some fine offensive plays here tonight with the puck.
Cal Huseman was the man with the pass, the breakaway pass that sent Terrell in. So it's just a 1-goal deficit, 5-4. Back they come again. This is John Rue. He is checked, and Hill Murray sends it down the ice. That could have been icing.
It is.
And it is icing, despite the fact that goaltender Jacklin came out to play it.
Well, in high school hockey, you just got to go across the goal line, and it's automatic icing. That's what it did. Jacklin was smart enough to make sure he was behind the goal line to touch it.
1 minute, 40 seconds left in regulation time, and I believe Bill Olson will use his timeout.
Well, he'll tell them when to expect the goaltender to be pulled. Richie Jacklin was already standing at the hash marks. He's going to be in position to go to that bench quickly if he doesn't come out right now. And I would think he's going to be coming out within the next 20 seconds or so if he's not out right now. There's nothing to save it for, and this Hibbing club coming back time and time again. Don't you just love it?
This is like a championship game, and it is, because if you don't win here, you're not going to win.
As I was saying earlier, Burnsville doesn't care who they play because there's no easy task here beating either one of these two clubs.
Maybe Tom Osiki's liking what's happening because both teams are spending a lot tonight. You wonder how much they'll have tomorrow.
You're right, Chris. They both had very physical games last night, which might have taken its toll somewhat in this game because they laid off the body checking for 2.5 periods. Then, as the game got close, to running down and out of time, they started using their bodies much more effectively than they had earlier. It didn't make the game as wide open as it was until Hibbing fell behind 2 goals, but it sure did increase the intensity of the checks that each was laying on the other.
We'll be watching the Hibbing net. There's a minute 40 left, and you can bet that with about a minute 20 to a minute remaining, that if they get the opportunity, Rich Jacklin will come to the bench. They've got the big guns out now. There's Girardi along with Wallers and Ruse, so they are putting together what could be termed a power play unit to try and get the equalizer. Gostad has moved up as well. Gostad goes down from the face-off as he fights for it. It's cleared up the boards, and the Pioneers get it out to center. John Rue fell down as he tried to move it back in. Here's a breakaway for Quinlan. Tom Quinlan shooting Jacklin with a game saver. Back comes the Blue Jackets. There's a minute 15 left, and now another big break for the Pioneers. It's Quinlan in the slot for Rollick. Rollick shooting. Jacklin got his blocker on that. And now they rule that the puck was gloved ahead. 1:06 left, and we'll get a face-off outside the Hibbing zone.
Well, Sean Fabian just made 2 superb plays in this last minute. He fed this pass to Quinlan. Quinlan, coming in all alone, was stoned by Richie Jacklin. A great play by the goaltender Jacklin. But Sean Fabian saw Quinlan alone. He got him that lead pass. Then the puck turned over, and Hibbing came down 4-on-2, and he broke that play up at the blue line. A great play by Sean Fabian. Otherwise, Hibbing would have been set up in that offensive zone with a good opportunity to tie the game.
Looked like a blue wave coming down the ice until Fabian interrupted it. Less than a minute to go, and the goaltender is out. Jacklin has gone to the bench. Hibbing has an extra attacker, but the puck slides out to center. Gostad goes back for it. It's loose at the line. That net is open. And now it goes back into the Pioneer zone. Puck is knocked towards the referee. It's loose in the corner. Terrell goes after it. So does Girardi. It comes to the line, kept in by Terrell. Now it's cleared out to center, and there's 30 seconds left. Doug Terrell has 2 goals tonight. Off the boards to Girardi. Yet to score in the tournament. Steve Terrell off the boards, and Rick Horvath will hold on with 19 seconds left in regulation time.
And that's what Hibbing wanted to do right now, is get a face-off, take time to set up, let the players know what they want done. They had a little difficulty getting the puck in the zone, and a fine play again by Fabian, getting the puck to Quinlan on the right board. And Quinlan very wisely just dumped it out the center rather than trying to ice the puck for an open net, because that would have brought the face-off back 20 seconds earlier. Now Hibbing with 19 seconds on the board will line up. They'll try and get that face-off and get the shooter to get a shot on net. Actually, I would think that they might use a left-hand draw, but Steve Terrell obviously got to be their best face-off man. So Wallers will take the shot.
Terrell against Johnson. They get the draw. Wallers shooting. Horvath the stop. They got the big shot on goal, and Horvath comes up even bigger. Blue Jackets keep it in the zone, but can they get another shot? Here it comes to center, and that should about do it. The puck in the center ice zone, and time runs out on the Hibbing Blue Jackets. It's a rematch of last year's championship final as the Hill Murray Pioneers join Burnsville in the championship game.
And it's a rematch only because of the brilliant save by Horvath off Pete Wallers with 17 seconds to go after Steve Terrell cleanly won the draw. And a screen was set up in front, and Horvath just got his stick on it. What a great save and a great victory on a fine day played. You can't find a better hockey game than this.
You sure can't. And it was a tough way for Hill Murray, for Hibbing to go down for the 2nd year in a row by a goal. This was like an overtime game, but it sure was a memorable one, and Hibbing has no reason to hang their head. They put on quite a show tonight.
Well, I certainly hope that we're going to see the equivalent of this game tomorrow night between Hill Murray and Burnsville. Watch this last save. Here's the draw, cleanly won. A shot right there, and what a fine save by Horvath, because Wallers got all he had on that one. Wallers with an outstanding 2 games here thus far, thwarted by Horvath. The game ends Hill Murray 5, Hibbing 4. Hill Murray going on to the championship game against Burnsville.
You know, some people don't like the cockiness that some goaltenders like Billy Smith or Rick Horvath show, but when they back it up with saves like that, then you got to admire them.
Many times they back it up because they believe in themselves like that. They like the pressure, they like the situation, and they feel confident that they're going to do the job, and they do it.
Well, we salute the Hibbing Blue Jackets. They put on quite an effort tonight, but it's the Hill Murray Pioneers going back in the championship game, and it's a rematch of last year's final. Gentlemen?
Okay, thank you, Chris and Louie. I don't think that has to be the most exciting period of hockey that we've had to date. And now we have our finalists set, and 5 goals, no less, scored after it was 2-2 after 2.
10 times this year, Hibbing has come back to win. They came so close tonight. Ricky Horvath is about as feisty a hockey goal you'll ever find in high school, using his stick for other means besides stopping the pucks at times. Really came up with the save of the game, as we just saw with Pete Wohlers. And Tony Parker is here with the coach and one of the heroes of the game tonight.
Okay, Trey Toomey, you assisted on Steve's goal that made it 4-3. Then you got one. Did you know how important that number 5 was going to be?
No, I didn't. I thought we could hang on, but Hibbing's a great team, and they didn't want to lose, so they're coming hard after us. But it was nice to get that insurance goal.
Okay, 3 years out of 4, it's going to be Hill Murray and Burnsville. What can you do that they haven't done the past, Terry?
Not much. We're looking forward to the game tomorrow night. We feel really glad about tonight because we played very well, but we know Burnsville's got a great team, and we're looking forward to playing them tomorrow night.
Very physical game, Trey.
Yeah, it was a physical game. Hibbing plays a tough game.
Did you save a little bit for tomorrow?
No, we're going all out tonight, but I think we'll have some leftovers against Burnsville.
Everybody's going to be up tomorrow, right, Terry?
We'll definitely be up. When you're in state championship final, you have to be up.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good luck, Trey. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Tony, and a good point there. I wonder how much left these two teams will have for tomorrow, especially Hill Murray after this game.
Ralph, I'm sure the sight of the Burnsville uniforms was all that Hill Murray is going to need, and all I have to do is look at the scoreboard from last year. It was 4-3 Burnsville last year. Hill Murray, I'm sure, will be ready, as will Tom Lisiki's Burnsville Braves. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing action of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. It'll be Hill Murray and Burnsville in a rematch for the State High School Hockey Championship tomorrow night. And what an exciting third period. Hill Murray broke on top here 4-3 as Steve Rollick will score. Sean Fabian gets the assist. Rollick, many scouts feel, is the best player on this Hill Murray club. The deflection by Steve Rollick, and that made it 4-3. Here's another look at it. Sean Fabian will get the shot, and Jacqueline just didn't have a chance. 4-3. Hill Murray then made it up by 2. 5-3. Here's Trey Toomey, who Tony Parker just talked with, scored the goal. It actually went off of Gostad's skate there. Hibbing defenseman's skate enabled Toomey to get control of the puck, and that made it 5-3. Here's another look at it. Gostad in the middle inadvertently gave the puck over to Toomey. That made it 5-3. But Hibbing came back strong again. Sophomore Doug Terrell will go in on goal here. Horvath will make the initial save, but watch Terrell. He just would not quit. His second goal of the game. He's only a sophomore, and this will make it 5-4. But then Hibbing pulled its goalie, came up with one last chance, but Ricky Horvath came up with the save of the game and probably the save of his career, stopping Pete Wohlers with 17 seconds left. And Hill Murray escapes with their lives. 5-4 was the final. Another look at it as Ricky Horvath came up with the save. And speaking of Ricky Horvath, Ralph John Fritz is over in our interview set with the hero of tonight's game, Rick Horvath. RJ?
Okay, congratulations, Ricky. First off, was that the biggest save against Wohlers?
Oh, definitely. It's the biggest one I've come up with. Just lucky that I made the save. I picked it off with my stick.
You chewed your team out after your trailing against Richfield after one period. What did you say tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really chew them out against Richfield. I guess I just tried to get them going. It was a little chewing out, but not too bad. We just went in there. We told them to stay confident. We got 20 guys that can do it, and we did it.
Rick, a lot's been said about your feistiness out there, a la Billy Smith using the stick. Is that something you've done from small on?
Yeah, I like to get into the game. It gets me more into the game, I guess.
But are you concerned about picking up penalties?
Not really. The refs tell me when I'm getting out of hand, I guess, and they keep me under control.
Have you been looking forward to meeting Burnsville?
Yeah, last year is a big game, and I guess that they were the better team last year. When it came down to it, they did it, and we didn't. But we're looking forward to a good game again this year.
Nice going again, Rick. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Rick Horvath, goaltender of the Hill Murray Pioneers.
Okay, Ralph, and of course, Ricky Horvath and the Hill Murray Pioneers will get their chance for revenge tomorrow night when they play the Burnsville Braves in the title game. Now, let's take a look at the tourney scoring leaders as we stand right now, and Scott Bloom of Burnsville is waiting in the wings. He leads tournament scoring right now, 3 goals and 4 assists. The Sauer of Bemidji with 6 points, followed by Tom Quinlan of Hill Murray, and also Rollick and Toomey, the threesome from the Hill Murray Pioneers, and Meyer of Bemidji also with 5 points. So that's where we stand right now. It'll be Hill Murray and Burnsville for the State High School Hockey Championship. Our coverage will begin at noon tomorrow with a consolation championship. And that'll begin at noon, as I mentioned, and it'll be Bloomington Jefferson against Bemidji for the consolation title at 12:05. Following that game at 3:05 tomorrow, or the third place championship, and that'll be Duluth Denfeld against Hibbing. It'll be a battle for the North. Hibbing is 19-7 in state tournament games. They have always gone home with the trophy. They won the consolation title a year ago. I'm sure they'd rather be playing, obviously, for that championship trophy, but Hibbing manages to always come back. They've never left here without any hardware. And then tomorrow night, the big one, a rematch from last year. Burnsville won this one 4-3 a year ago. It'll be Burnsville and Hill Murray for the state title game at 7:35. We will have a special countdown to championship show at 7 o'clock. Ricky Horvath just barely caught his breath. All of us have been trying to catch ours after that tremendous semifinal game tonight, Ralph.
You know, as I was just talking with Rick Horvath, I can't believe that people like Rick Horvath or Rollick of Hill Murray or even Girardi of Hibbing have not really had that many Division I offers yet. But this is a showcase for them, and I'm sure they're on the way.
May not get any better than what we just saw tonight.
It was a beauty, and I think we're going to have another one tomorrow night.
That's it from the St. Paul Civic Center. For Ralph John Fritz, this is Mark Rosen. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.